Hello, welcome back here. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. We're continuing through the text of A Course in Miracles, and today we have a conversation about your will. This is your will. So we'll say some more about that. We're in chapter 9 now of the text, which is called The Acceptance of Atonement. Section 1, The Acceptance of Reality. What else? So we're in the midst of what have been some very, very interesting conversations. And in here, we've woven in a conversation about addiction and compulsive behavior, all of that, and asking for what we don't want. And we can most definitely ask for what we don't want. We could manage to convince ourselves that we want it, more suffering, a downward spiral, and ask for it and appear to get it. Now, I use the word appear deliberately, as always. It only appears that we're even here. It only appears that this thing that is 80% water is running around interacting with other things, separate things that are 80% water. That is only an appearance. It is not reality in any way. We're learning here on this journey. We call it a journey, we call it a walk, a path. We're learning to accept truth just as it is. When we identify as an ego, we're attempting to make it something else. We're attempting to make the situation real, and that's what we want to see. So, lo and behold, voila, we see it. This is an important statement because when, not if, but when you formulate the wish to have the peace of God and nothing else, and nothing else, there is nothing else, there is nothing else. When you formulate this wish, what then do you see? Yes. Mind is that powerful. This is how any teacher can say that the mind is powerful enough to make a world it can unmake it. That powerful. So as we run amok here in life and suffer and pay bills and check our endlessly long email with dozens of messages that we can't wait to delete, yeah, you know, just saying, right? 21st century life, as we occupy ourselves with so much, we don't stop usually to think about all of this. So what you're doing right here today is incredibly important. And I thank you for that. We all thank you for that, by the way. Every single living thing thanks you and appreciates you for your commitment and dedication to spiritual practice, whether they come out and adore you and praise you for that or even acknowledge it. They do, because we're all waking up. Everyone, every single one of us must remember the will of God. That is what we are. Our will and God's will are one, indivisible, inseparable, can't be parsed out into 8 billion so-called human component parts. One. Everyone must remember the will of God because it's who we are. Must. Now, I can feel some of the wheels spinning, saying, but what about my friend who is an avowed atheist and doesn't believe in anything spiritual at all and thinks I'm absolutely out of my mind? Woo woo for even paying attention to something like this. How about all my family members that think I'm crazy? A little esoteric, maybe, far out there, engaged in some obscure little spiritual branch or something. I don't know what you hear. I've heard a lot of really fanciful and really misinformed things about this course, and I'm sure you have too. Let them talk. It's really important that you're here right now. And all of that talk is, in fact, a forgiveness opportunity for you. It is. It is for all of us a forgiveness opportunity for us to release this and keep going. And next forgiveness opportunity, right? Well, let me be present for it so I may forgive and release. Again, 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 as many times as I can and must until I've set the ego aside for good. It was never here. It's not here now. All of this supposed separation is illusion. We could leave it behind right now. And that is the constant invitation of our inner teacher to set the ego aside, allow him to come in and direct every single aspect of your experience. You'll be real happy you did once you get over the initial panic. Understand that it's the ego that's afraid. The ego is afraid of the Holy Spirit, doesn't really know what it is, but it does sense that there is something much more powerful than it. How about something that is actually real? And it knows it's correct in one thing and one thing only, as Jesus tells us here in the Course. The ego is correct that you will set it aside. When will somebody set it aside? Well, we don't know. We were talking about that just a moment ago with reference to all of your friends and relatives that think you're absolutely crazy for engaging in spirituality. You should be doing something else instead. Yeah, how productive is this? You ever hear that one? Maybe you have. When will they finally accept that our will and God's will are one? Well, they will eventually. It doesn't have to be in this lifetime, and right here in the present moment, in this thing that we've referred to as the 21st century, which could just as easily be the 79th century. We made all this up. All of it is an invention. It's a fabrication of our mind. I'm just saying. It's not up to us to determine when someone else will decide to forgive the Son of God and begin what looks like a process, very definitely looks like a process of setting the ego aside. It's not up for us. It's not up to us. It's not for us to decide that. Ours is to forgive what's right in front of our face right now, to share love, to extend love to the Son of God. When you do it, those people that are making fun of you will notice. They may never acknowledge in this lifetime. In fact, it could be that they'll spend the rest of this lifetime doing exactly what they're doing now. No problem. Here's the deal. The separation never occurred. We're at home in God where we've always been. So, of course, here in this dream, we're all going to wake up from it. We're not really even here. There is no world. The central teaching of A Course in Miracles. If we're at home in God, how can there be a spinning ball of rock, which means that there are other spinning balls of rock and galaxies and stuff, entire universes? There's only perfect oneness. That's truth, and we're allowing it to be just as it is. Each and every one of us will recognize ourselves. So you may recognize yourself in the next 15 minutes. If you do, while you're watching this, will you please send me a message here on YouTube? Because I want to talk to you. I will want to bring you on camera so we can discuss for the entire planet. If this happens for you in the next 15 minutes, please, seriously. We don't know. Who knows? Who really knows when awakening is going to come? But if you find yourself engaged in the habitual patterns of judging and blame and separation and ego clinging, you can bet it's not going to be right this instant. That's all. So we're told here in the middle of chapter 9, section 1, that fear can't be real. Fear of separation, fear of your brother, fear of God can't be real without a cause. God is the only cause. God is all that there is, and God is not separate from us. God is, period. God is all. There is no separation of any kind. God is the only cause, so there is no other to be afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of. Yes, that means, as unflattering as it sounds, and it is unflattering, of course, yes, it means that we're afraid of shadows. We're afraid of complete illusions like a passing cloud. These objects look very solid to us. This is a dream, and we're dreaming in a dream here in the world. Think about the apparent difference between the sleeping and the waking state. When you dream, the figures in a dream seem very real. They shout at you. They touch you. They may even try to harm you or love you or adore you. Lots of things can appear to happen. But when you wake up, where are all of those images that once seemed so real? They're not there. They're gone, and you realize that they were never there to begin with. It was all a dream, a fabrication of the mind. All of this, a dream. Quite naturally, you don't have to agree, of course, right? You don't have to agree. You don't have to believe it. Just know that any resistance that you currently encounter or will encounter is the ego. It's what it is. We have a choice to accept truth as it is or reject truth and run and hide. It's our choice. Your friends and family members that we've been talking about that maybe don't know why you would ever invest your time and energy in something as far out, fanciful, wild, and bizarre as A Course in Miracles, forgive them. They will eventually decide that they want the peace of God and nothing else. It's who they are. Right here in the midst of paragraph 9, we see a very powerful statement. God is love, and you do want him. This is your will. God is love, and you do want him. This is your will. This is what we want. You can call it whatever you like: enlightenment, awakening, going home, whatever works for you. God is love, and we do want him. This is what we want. We can ask for what we want. Now, here in the conversation, the recent conversation about addiction and compulsive behaviors, we can ask for what we don't want. We can ask for suffering. You can. You can also ask to let truth be just as it is. You can ask for the love of God. You can ask for love. Capital L. Definitely, God is love, capital L. Now, here in the world, we think of love in multiple different ways. Nope. The multiple different? Mistake. There is only love. Here in the world, we think of love as an exclusive. That word should tell you everything you need to know. Exclusive relationship between exactly two people, or maybe a third. I don't know. Maybe it's a group. Who knows? But we tend to think of it as exclusive. We do. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with a union of two people. I'm very happily married in this lifetime. What we're invited to do in just such a situation is acknowledge that there is no separation of any kind and give our personal relationships over to our inner teacher and let him run the show and direct. Make it a holy relationship, not an exclusive separatist relationship, which doesn't mean that we go out and indulge in certain forms of behavior. We don't. It's the giving over of the relationship to your inner teacher that really matters, which changes its purpose from exclusion to union and joining. Really, try it sometime. And try it again and again and again, and make a habit of doing it again and again and again. Gosh, you know where we're going with this, and see how you feel. But really, try it. We want the peace of God. We all want the peace of God, or we would not be here. You would certainly not be interested in this course, which kind of tells it like it is and lays it all out. There is no world. You're not a body. Ideas leave not their source, capital S. You are the thought of God, an idea. We all are, which should give you every clue that you could ever need or desire as to where you are, who and what you really, truly are. We all are. Oneness, one with God. So when we run amok here and we ask for what will harm us, the Holy Spirit can't actually respond to that because he doesn't recognize this. We're told here in paragraph 10 that when we ask for what would harm us, the Holy Spirit can't answer. Why? Nothing can harm us. This isn't you. It's not me either. The body is not you. Your profession is not you. Your socioeconomic status in the world is not you. Your car is not you. Your fine threads are not you. Your reputation is not you. You cannot be harmed. So our teacher can't give us what would harm us. We can't be harmed. As the thought of God were perfectly safe where we've always been, ideas leave not their source, and were in fact invulnerable. There is no separate other to attack. When we lash out here in the world and see ourselves as separate individuals and see everyone else as the same, and we attack, we judge, we blame, that is a simple mistake. It's a mistake, and we're invited to accept here the atonement for ourselves. We're invited to accept our inner teacher's correction of our mistakes. This is what atonement is. Central to this is our acknowledgement that the separation never occurred. So we listen to teachings like this. We read A Course in Miracles again and again. Some of you have been doing this for 30 or 40 years. We do this because one day it's going to click. And perhaps it already has for you. Perhaps it's clicking today and something really hits home. Pay attention to that because that's your inner teacher speaking to you. So let's ask for what we do want today. That's the invitation for all of us. So along the way, what seems certain is that questions will arise. After all, what is spirituality but a process? And it can seem a lengthy process indeed, a process of self-inquiry. So along those lines, if you have questions, you're more than welcome to leave them here. There have been a number of really, really excellent discussions, and including some requests for topics like the last one that we saw on addiction and compulsive behavior. Yeah, that's a great topic because we all experience this. It informs all of our lives, whether we are addicted or someone that we know. We've all had some kind of experience with this, and if you want to see that, that is the most recent video. Comments and questions are always welcome, as is your subscription. If you haven't joined us, we'd love to have you. This is the subscription button here. This arrow pops up into a button that says subscribe. And you know what to do. We'd love to have you. These videos appear several times a week, and we're going through the text of A Course in Miracles, which is nothing less than a thought system, a mind training thought system that aims to clarify our perception so that we see things as they are rather than the way we've made them, which, if we're honest, we have to take a quick look at and say, yeah, that's a hot mess, isn't it? All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you soon.